I'm happy to say that I have my wooden plate shield clock back in its home. It has not been there for the 6 months that I was working on the tall case clock, because this was the only place that I had that I could put the movement and the pendulum would like run. I don't have a grandfather clock test stand, so I used this that supports my shield clock and used it as my test stand. So this was laying down on its back on the table for months, and I moved the grandfather clock upstairs and it ran, and I put the tall case clock in the hallway downstairs and it ran and it didn't stop. This would not run anymore. After being laying there for months on its back, it would not stay running for more than, it would run, but it would not stay running. It would run for 20 minutes, it would run for an hour, it would run for 5 minutes, like very different amounts of time it would run. It now says 6 o'clock, and it's run since last night at 10 o'clock was the time I set it for. It wasn't 10 o'clock, but so it has run for 20 hours now. And I did one simple thing. You see the face is off, the back is off. I thought my problem was going to be this pendulum crutch. Where is it? Can we see it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the crutch wire there is on the left side of the suspension spring. And you can see that it has a repair. This is a very old clock, so you can see that repair right there, that little tube that they put on the crutch wire, right? And it's been soldered at the top and stuff where it goes into the pallet part of it. And when I wiggled it at the bottom, I wasn't real careful when I put the suspension spring back on. It's hard to get it on when the back side of this clock is on here. It's very hard to get the suspension spring on. You got to feed it up through the hole, put the pin through it and everything, and then screw the rod into the bottom block. And so I couldn't get the pin to go through the hole, so I ended up setting this down, and the foot is will just barely touch if you set it flat. So I thought, okay, I've damaged that because I wasn't careful with the foot. When I set it down, I jarred it a little bit. So I took it all apart thinking I was going to have to repair that wire right there, solder it back at the top, and I checked the suspension spring because it's an old one. It's got some rust on it and stuff. I've had to hammer it flat because it was kind of twisted up when I got it, but it still works. And then I remembered something that I saw on, I couldn't remember how I got it running before because it had been a while since I worked on it. And when I started taking this back plate off, I saw a little toothpick stub. And I went, oh yeah, I had to brace that top block in there last time. You'll see there is a little toothpick stub on either side of that top block to make it snug, because there's just a hole cut at the top. The top block's got to be snug, and that's on any pendulum clock. That top block has got to be pretty snug in the whatever piece is holding it at the top. It can't have a lot of play. If you're just wasting energy, the impulse that's coming off of your pallet to move this pendulum is getting lost if this is going back and forth and it's not snug. So let's talk about that for a second. Okay, so this is a long suspension spring for any kind of long case grandfather clock, wooden plate clock, wag on the wall. That's its top block. That's usually got a pin through it, and the bottom block that goes between the crutch foot. So this top block, let's say this is whatever's holding it. I'm just using these little wooden sticks as an example. It should be snug enough that when you put the rod through, pretend this is the pin going through this, holding this thing still. When you put it through there, it should be snug enough on either side that it's not hard to slip in there. It slips in there decently easily, but it should easily swing to where the heavier bottom block makes it hang straight down. You don't want it tight, so tight that if you put it in there and you put it at an angle, it would stay at an angle. You want it to move a little bit in the sides right there, but it should be snug, and that one was not. There's just a hole cut in the wood, so I ended up putting those wedges here and here to make it tight. But I learned that, I thought of that because, for one, because when I took it apart, I found my little stub where I had worked on it last time, and I went, oh yeah, I had to do something with the pendulum block. But I've been watching a YouTube channel off of one of Mark's, off of his list of Reed's repairs and how to repair pendulum clocks, and he's got also a third channel that's called Open Clock Club, and it's basically a horology lesson. There's like 43 videos. They're about an hour long each. They were recorded over several years ago, and he talked about this same thing. So it's definitely proven true on that clock. So if your clock will run for a little while and stop, check this. Yes, check that your crutch wire's not loose, that it's perpendicular and parallel to the back side of the clock, and the foot is straight and all that good stuff. But check and make sure that it could just be something as simple as a little gap in the top of this. And I'll leave the link to those channels on the bottom of this video. Thanks for checking this out, and I'm so happy that clock ran all night. Now all three of them are up and going again, so I'm happy. Thanks for watching.